with this psychic where two of my oldest friends appeared, and I appeared to talk to them. Chapman came out.
What do you mean appeared?
Great. She said, "Who's Graham?" I said, "Is he Graham Chapman?" She says, "She's going on about a pipe." I said, "Yes, he always smoked a pipe." Then she said, "He's rolling up his trouser leg." And I said, "Oh, that's a sketch we did about the Freemasons."
But couldn't she have seen that sketch?
If she saw it, no.
Why?
There wasn't. I know she didn't.
But it was broadcast.
It was broadcast once or twice.
And what was the other thing?
Well, the other thing, an example she couldn't have known, was that she was talking to my wife, who discovered about a thing that had happened when my wife was with her parents opening birthday presents or Christmas presents. And she described one of the presents. And I promise you, until you experience it, until you hear the things that are coming back, you think there's no explanation in science for this. But the scientists hate it so much they pretend it doesn't happen because they can't explain it.
There are debunkers who will say, but I'm going to be agnostic on this one because there are things that just are so inexplicable.
That's right.
And
I don't want anyone to say, "Oh, I believe that." I want people to say, have an open mind and look at it and see what you think of the evidence, because some of the evidence is extraordinary.
There's a guy who does an act. I mean, it is an act. I've seen it. It's on a stage. In fact, he performs as part of Barbra Streisand's stage show, you know, when she does a live performance. I've seen him. And he does mentalist things that, yes, I don't know how it would, people in the audience and he writes it down, you know, like, just think of the thing, and you can tell when someone is a plant, and it would be, so that, like, is very hard to explain.
Well, I'll give you another example, because the first time she said to me, "Who's Graham?" and I said, "He's the guy I used to."
I know, but everyone knows him who watches Monty Python.
But now let me tell you this. She said the first time, "He's waving a parrot at me." We wrote that sketch, The Dead Parrot. The second time she said...
I think I could do this job.
The second time, she said to me, "But he's now he's waving something like a monkey." And I said, "A monkey? I can't read." She said, "Well, it's got a sort of stripy tail." And I said, "Oh, that's a ringtail monkey. I have a species of ringtail monkey, lemur named after me."
You do?
Yeah.
Why?
Because a Swiss biologist who discovered the new species asked if he could name it. It's called Cleese's woolly lemur.
So a fan.
It actually exists on Madagascar.
So a fan. He was a fan.
Yeah, he was a fan, but he was a biologist. He said, "Can you name it?" But nobody knows.
You look at me like, why are you asking me why I am a monkey?
Yeah, but let me tell you the key thing, which was that she said, "Well, he's showing this to me." And I said, "Yes." And he said, he says that it's named after you. Does that mean that the lemur is called John? And I said, "No, it means that that species of lemur is named after me. It's Cleese's woolly lemur." There's no way she would have known that.
That is obscure. I'll give you that. Are you sure it wasn't in 25 Things You Don't Know About Me in Us magazine? Because it's the kind of thing that might get in there. I'm just fucking with it.
Yeah, but you see, all I want people to do is to say, "I don't mind looking at this. I don't believe it.
No.
I don't disbelieve it. I want them to be interested, and they're not interested." Let me tell you this. There's a brilliant guy in London who had a meeting with Dawkins and Rupert Sheldrake. And when they met to discuss these ESP, these inexplicable things, Dawkins said, "I don't believe a word of it." And Rupert Sheldrake said, "But I sent you a lot of the stuff, a lot of the evidence." And what Dawkins said, "I didn't bother to read it because I know it's rubbish." That is a deeply unscientific.
I agree. And I like him, and he's a friend. And
I like him.
Yeah.
I'm a witness to his will.
No, he can, really?
Yeah.
No, he can be, I mean, he is exactly who he is, the English professor.
Yeah.
But
he's the English professor with a very zealous point of view.
Yes.
And science should be about skepticism.
Well, it is. I mean, he's primarily not about that issue, the religion. He wrote the one book, The God Delusion, great book.
It's a whole book.
Yeah, there's a whole book, but he's got 12 other books. He's an evolutionary biologist. That's what he does. That's what he cares about.
Yeah.
He's a true science nerd. He wouldn't know a joke if you hit him in the head with it. I mean, well, at least he didn't when he was sitting here. I mean, I've been out with him. He's a sweet guy, but he is a professor, and he is a serious person. And that is not what he wanted to have his life defined by.
Of course not, but
some people do.
It's his zealousy. His zealotism. What's the word?
Well, it's
zeal.
It's
his zeal that's got him into this position.
Well, look, I don't believe in gods, but there are phenomena. Again, there are people who will be terribly disappointed in me, hearing me say this, but I've said it before. I know a lot of people, rather, I've heard stories from people who I trust, who were not drunk, they're not crazy, and they had some ghost story, to lack of a better phrase.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I grilled them as hard as I could. And it's not about their religious, it's not a religious thing.
No.
It's just something made that chair move or whatever it was.
It was an experience. What they
it was
think
an
is
experience or something they saw, and you're like, were you dreaming? You're like, no, I wasn't. I looked at that, I wasn't dreaming. And we all know when we're in a situation where it could be, you don't like drop off asleep immediately at the top of a stairway or something. You know, if that's where you saw it, you're going, well, I fell asleep in 2 seconds getting up the stairs. No. And so drunk. No, I know when I'm drunk.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. But I'm not going to close the door on anything.
Bill, I love it because you said I don't know. And I don't know for sure, but I have heard people tell me things, very bright people, very often academics, and I've had one or two very mild experiences myself, and I think this stuff is fascinating, but you don't want, most scientists don't want to talk about it because they don't like to admit they don't know.
Does it make you fearful or hopeful about dying? Hopeful. Because
I had a conversation, as I said today, with two of my old friends and one of my ex-wives. Again, it just seemed almost as though I was talking to them with stuff that nobody else could really know.
Hey, thanks for watching the clip. Hit the subscribe button now so you never miss out on our Club Random content that's posted daily.